about that one.
Get started here with Coach Tony.
You tell us, how about that one? I mean, what are you thinking after a game?
Emotions. You know, when you coach this game, when you're part of this game with these young men, coaches, staff, and you're with them for hours and hours, it ends on the day, and you go through that emotional roller coaster like that, you appreciate the hard work, you appreciate their fight, their grit to finish. I haven't been a part of a 5-turnover game and win the game. The last time Michigan had was South Carolina in 2018, and we lost. You know, having 5 turnovers. So there's things that we know from a decision-making standpoint. You know, fumble happened. We're going to take that as coaches, not as players. But at the end of the day, we found a way to win, and that's the most important piece. So really excited for our team to be 8-2 right now, as we go into this next game, as we go to prepare for Maryland.
Sam?
After missing those 2 field goals and ending the game-winning one, what does it say about the ball that we as a player?
Yeah, I mean, just the mindset of next play. You know, he's got to keep rolling. And the team had a lot of confidence in him. You know, the one was pretty long. You know, it was a 60-yarder, which he had the distance for. He just missed it. So seeing him make it, got to have trust in your kicker in those situations, especially against a team like that that's going to chew the clock and play that type of offense. So just so happy for him, so happy for our team, and him making that field goal.
I know you don't like to talk to him after he misses, but are you at least monitoring his demeanor and seeing how he is on the sideline?
I see him, but I'm not talking to him. Like I told you, I can't coach kickers. I let the kicking coaches coach them. But his demeanor just never changes. I've never kicked before. I'm sure nobody else. Maybe anybody in here kicked before?
Madden.
Huh? Madden. Yeah, Madden. It's different. That little meter goes like this, and then you can hit that. If you can hit that every time, you'll make every kick. Right? But it's a lot different on Big Noon on national TV, and the clock is at 3 seconds on the clock, and they freeze you. And then I see him over there talking to one of their guys. I'm like, oh yeah, he's about to bang this through. But there's still that in your back of your head. So yeah, the closest is Madden. That's the closest I've got. Madden and NCAA. So yeah, I'm proud of him for that kid.
Clayton?
Did you say that out loud to someone, or you were thinking it to yourself that he's going to make it?
Oh, I just said it to myself.
And then
I mean, they all knew it. They all knew it. So
and then Andrew Marsh, like
unbelievable.
It was all day, but also the last play that kind of helped save the game. I mean, can you just speak to what you saw on that play, and then also his performance in general?
12 catches for 189 yards. Just did what we thought. I didn't know he'd have 12 for 189. Great job, Chip. Go Blue. Didn't think it'd be 12 for 189. Thought he'd have a good day just because of how he practices, how he prepares. But he's just taking that next step as that playmaker that we want and we want to see on the outside lanes. So is Bryce, had the turnovers, but there's some throws in there, some incredible plays that he's making. The throw he made down to Andrew on the right side was a dime. And there's so many positive things to reflect on with this young group. And you talk about, we got 6 freshmen starting, redshirt freshmen starting. It's wild. It's an unbelievable ride. It's so fun to be around these kids. They work so hard. They prepare so hard. So you want that win for them more than anybody. And for them to pull it off like that is unbelievable.
On the left, Aaron.
I was just going to ask, after the turnovers were going and you guys were down by 4, were you worried about how the team would respond?
You just look, you see it. And to see Jay Shum Barham go to the offense, give them a vote of confidence. To see Cam Brandt and Rod and all those guys in that huddle in that last 2 minutes, it said everything. It said how close the team is. There was never a divide. So these guys just see the vision. And in college football, in the Big Ten, it is hard to win. And every week it's a battle. So, you can't have 5 turnovers every week. That's not going to help you win. So we got to clean that up. But I thought, we moved the ball on offense. We had 496 yards of total offense. Defensively, held them to 61 yards rushing. That's incredible. That's an amazing job of the defensive staff, defensive front. So, but again, proud of this team in the win.
And then the injury to Jordan Marshall, is that serious?
No, just got X-rays. Feels like he's in a good place. So he's gonna get a nice ice bath. Make sure he gets the best masseuse in town. They can take care of him. I can't pay for that, obviously. So let him handle that. They got plenty to handle that. So we'll take care of him and get him ready for these games that we got coming up.
Austin.
I hear what you're saying about the resilience difficulty of overcoming the turnover, but you've also talked about the urgency of needing to correct some mistakes coming out of the bye week. I guess, how concerned are you about those issues?
Yeah, I mean, we got to fix it, but that's something that hasn't been a huge piece to our game, so we got to just clean that up right now. And that's decision making, and continue to do that as we go through practice, giving those hard looks, doing those things to help our guys make those decisions, not fumbling the ball on the punt return. So the people that feel the worst about those turnovers are the guys that had them. So talk to them. We'll continue to coach it, but again, the win is what we're really proud about.
Chris?
Talk about Bryson coming down, what you did through that time.
Awesome, man. I think he had 15 carries for 53 yards, and to come out kind of cold, get some spot reps to spot Jordan, but then to come out and run so fast, run so physical, was awesome to see. And you could see him turning the corner these past couple weeks, and really needed him. And we had full faith that he'd go out there and compete in a big way.
How much is that confidence when you get more carries? You just kind of
Huge, yeah, huge. Because you only get better at football by playing it, and you got to play in these environments. What about that environment, right? Like that was cool. That was awesome. Kind of felt like a bowl game environment. Historic venue. Extremely blessed to be a part of this and play on this great stage. So it was fun.
Okay, now you can ask your question.
Angelique.
Angelique.
Sherrone, you mentioned coach's decision earlier. What was your thinking going on to that fourth down call?
Yeah, the 4th and 1. You talking about the kick?
The fumble.
Yeah, wanted to be aggressive. Wanted to be aggressive and go get the first down and try to go score. And we fumbled the ball. It can't happen. It was just a fumble of the exchange. I think we just caught it and dropped it. There's a lot of things you could say. You could say, oh yeah, if you go under center. Well, if you go under center, then they squeeze the defense, and then it's harder to run it. So the ability for him to be in the gun is also sometimes good, because then they got to have account of him too. So I think that's all a piece of it, and we just got to execute that better.
And how does that not suck the life out of the team at that point, that late in the game?
I mean, they're a resilient group. That's how it is. They're just resilient. We try to put them in hard situations, but I'd like to credit their families, their upbringing, how they've been brought up, the situations we put them in, because they just never flinched, and that was awesome to see.
Ryan?
So when Jordan Marshall comes down, how does that impact your guys' game plan on offense?
None. Just call the same plays, all the same thing we're doing. Felt very comfortable with Bryson and what he could do, and had Jasper ready if need be. So those guys are a great group of kids, a great group of backs that play physical. And like we say, in these Big Ten seasons, you're going to need them all.
Front?
What did you say to Bryce to keep him going? I mean, obviously he's still a freshman, really not anymore, but really
not a freshman anymore.
Not a freshman anymore. I mean, you got to stay positive within those situations. I've never played quarterback. Been around some really good ones. I've seen it, and you got to coach them a little bit different than you do the O-line and the other positions in the defense. So he just no, that's you, TJ. I just feel very strongly about his resiliency and how he plays and his no flinch mentality. And for a young guy, it's pretty special. So he's got to not throw this, not throw that. But like you look at the ones he made, there's some dynamic plays in there, and just continue to take out those other ones, and we'll help them do that as a staff and put our arms around and make sure we do that as a group.
The second row on the right.
What was like having that Michigan support fans out there for this game?
It was outstanding. Big shout out to the Michigan family for coming out to support us in Chicago. I thought there would be a good group showing of Michigan, but it was better than I thought. And they came, they were ready to go, they were pumped, they were loud, they were supportive. So much appreciation. We'd love that next week in the DMV in Maryland. So they can come down there and support us too, that'd be great. But that was outstanding.
Last two questions, Brandon, then the guy in the back.
Coach, one you guys retained the Jordan Trophy for 3 straight years.
Yeah.
With his impact, does it mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot. We talked about the history of that trophy, and being here. The first time it was introduced was in 2021, and being able to play for that means a lot. Being the first African American to play in the Big Ten and play for both teams, and to do what he did academically was pretty awesome. It means a lot. We talked about that as a group in rivalry games and trophy games. You always want to win and you always want to keep. So that meant a lot.
Last question in the back.
Can you talk about getting Jimmy Wilder that today, kind of rankings and back up for the injury?
Yeah, it felt like he just picked up from where he left off, and
big shout out to Coach Wayne, Coach BJ, Coach Ty Martindale. What they do with those linebackers is unbelievable, and they put those guys all over the place. They're constantly making plays. Jimmy Rolder, to have him back and also be a baseball guy and be back in his hometown was huge. So they're hyped. They're happy. It's all good. Happy flight. Happy flight.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.